Let's bring back David Bernstein, the CEO and co-founder of Run for America, and Beverly Hallberg, the president of District Media Group. We were just talking about gun control, but I need to go back to what we just saw in that very powerful speech Emma Gonzalez gave. She was speaking about the students, and then she took that moment. And I worked in radio most of my professional life before I came to television, and we used to say silence is a sound, and that sound was deafening at 6 minutes and 20 seconds. Beverly, your thoughts?
Extremely powerful by Miss Gonzalez. I think we saw the agony just even in her facial expressions, basically reliving in her own mind what she experienced that day and what many other students experienced that day. But I think it's sad that we are here and saying that the only answer to this is going to be more gun control, because we know it did take place in Parkland. We know that counselors were concerned about the individual who committed this. We know that law enforcement failed them, and we also know that across the country, depression and suicide rates among young people is increasing. I agree we need to have this discussion on how we can all keep our schools safe, but looking at gun control as the answer, or the only answer, is wrong. And I would like us to have an open discussion and talk more thoroughly about what can be done, because I think there's a lot we can do to make sure that schools are safe.
Today will certainly lead to more discussion, of course. Beverly, I want to put up a tweet for both you and David and all of us from Florida Senator Marco Rubio, who has been getting a lot of anger sent his way from many of the students in Parkland for his ties with the NRA. I want to put up his response on Twitter. He writes, "The most destructive aspect of our current politics is not the position that the other side holds, but the anger that this generates in those with different views. That anger is corrosive and dehumanizing. It is the force tearing America apart." David, how do you see that?
Well, I think that's absolutely right, but we have to look at who the people are who are leading the anger. I mean, you know, the President of the United States sets an example for people, and someone who demeans everyone around them, from public servants to political opponents to allies, on a regular basis with such anger and vitriol, and sets that tone, has certainly bears some responsibility. We all bear responsibility for it. And when people don't see the response to their anger, like these students who are out there today, and these people who are marching, who are asking for something very simple and very basic, it makes people very angry. So I think it is a destructive force, but there's a lot of irony in that, coming from Senator Rubio, who is someone who has been just as responsible for this climate as anybody else has.
And there's something else that we wanted to bring up, because there was a new poll that came out, so we want to take a look at something and get your reaction really quick. The new Quinnipiac poll, voters were asked, will the marches be effective in passing new gun laws? 62% said no. Only 31% said yes. That cannot be encouraging if you're out there marching today, although the voices of our youth and who are out there today certainly, I'm sure, feel energized by this. Beverly.
Yeah, gun control is not the issue, so right. I think that's why you're seeing the poll is the way it is, and I agree with Senator Rubio, is if we focus on the common ground, which is both sides of this issue, we want people to be safe, whether in schools or elsewhere. If we focus on safety and not make this about the NRA, I actually think we can find solutions, and I think it's extremely destructive to go to the more vitriolic rhetoric on this issue, because we're not going to go anywhere if that's where the only conversation we're having.
All right, Beverly and David, we have to leave it there. Thank you for hanging with us during Emma Gonzalez, during that speech in Washington, D.C. We'll be right back.